Stephen had been saving his money up for a while now for this vacation. He wanted it to be something memorable and fun. For once, he could do it with none of that traveling nonsense. Teleportation had recently been invented, but it was expensive, so this would be Stephen's first time using it. As he stood in the long line waiting his turn, he watched as person after person entered the small booth. A light would flash, and then the door would open to an empty booth, and the next person would walk in. It was quite a sight to see. The line moved quickly despite its length. There was no need for security, as the teleporters would not transmit diseases, drugs, or weapons. He had heard some rich people use them to instantly cure colds and such, and before he knew it, it was his turn. He entered the box. The door closed to a pitch-black darkness that he had not expected, and suddenly he felt like he was falling. This must be how getting teleported feels, he thought to himself, before suddenly and brutally hitting the hard ground and being knocked unconscious. When he started to regain his consciousness, he noticed a sterile light in his eyes. He tried to move his arms and could not. He tried to move his legs and felt a sharp pain that nearly sent him back into unconsciousness and left him gasping for air. This pain brought him back to his senses. He opened his eyes all the way to see that he was in what appeared to be a hospital room.
"Good morning, sunshine,"
said an unknown voice. Stephen tried to turn his head to see who spoke, but he realized he was fully restrained from head to toe, tied to a bed like a mental patient. Leather straps on his hands and feet, and another felt to be across his forehead. "What happened?" asked Stephen. "Was there a problem with the teleporter? I think it teleported me too high. All I remember is falling."
"No, there were no problems."
"I think my legs are broken. How can you say there were no problems?"
"Because there wasn't."
"But where am I? What happened?"
"Same place you were yesterday, and the day before. Just a little lower. Oh, and nothing."
"How long was I unconscious?" It sounded like he had been there for a while.
"Oh, only a few hours."
None of this made any sense to Stephen. This must be a crazy person. But how did they get him? Was it possible to hijack the teleportation beam? This was not adding up, and he was starting to get scared. He tried to cover for it with some blustering. "Who the hell are you?" Stephen demanded. "Let me go right now."
"Oh, I'm just a businessman who likes his job a little too much. But I'm afraid I can't let you go."
"Why not?"
"Well, first of all, I may have taken my experimentation a little too far this time. Both your legs are broken. I need you to heal before I can send you to the auction house. Otherwise, we'll lose money. Nobody wants bruised grapes, but cheer up. That means you'll have some time to spend with me before you're shipped out. And second of all, I wouldn't ship you out yet anyway. You're a package deal. But that's enough talk for today. I'll let you sleep and recover."
He had no intention of going to sleep, but suddenly he could not stop himself. He must have been sedated somehow. The next time he awoke, he had no clue how much time had passed. The room he was in had no windows, and the lights seemed to always be on. He lay there for a while before he heard the door open and close. "What do you mean by auction house? Am I going to be sold as a slave? Who are you, and who do you work for?" Stephen immediately demanded. The man laughed.
"Slave? What good are you exactly? What could you do for us that we can't do better? Robots have made better servers than men for decades now, and you don't need to feed them."
Suddenly, Stephen was falling asleep again and could not stop it. The next time he awoke, he could hear someone working in the corner of the room. "How much did it cost you to intercept my beam?" asked Stephen.
"Intercept your beam? You mean your teleportation beam? Why would we need to do such a silly and useless thing?"
"Then how did you abduct me?"
"Well, since we have time, let me tell you a story."
Stephen heard him get up from a chair nearby and heard footsteps walking over to him, and suddenly, in his view, was a demon. Stephen screamed in terror.
Oh, hush, little one. I don't like loud noises.
You're Satan.
No, I'm not Satan. I'm actually an alien. I come from another world.
Then why do you look like a demon?
My father had no concern with people seeing him. Yes, you humans ran, but how is that any different than how other wild animals treat you humans? Wild animals always run from their predators.
That word stuck in Stephen's head. Predators?
Of course. My father came here looking for a new income source. It's no wonder why so many of you remember him. But stories get twisted the more they're told, so who knows how much of them are true. Although he was known for his sloppy kills, he had no concern with putting you down painlessly as I do. Well, normally, I apologize for your legs. I thought you humans were significantly more durable considering what you show on your TVs. I've seen hundreds of people jump off objects higher than you fell and suffer no consequence whatsoever. Your film producers love to lie, it seems. Anyway, my father started to sell you humans items that would better your lives, but rather than give you a working version, he would always find a way to include wanted toxins and other chemicals in the processing and creation of your products. He got you to season yourselves for us, to make yourselves a better match for our body's chemistry. And as you polluted your bodies and your planet more and more, you became more and more valuable as a food product, and your planet itself became more habitable for my species. You made my family rich with your greed and gluttony. Even your average weight has gone up, and since we basically gave you the means to be sedentary, your meat became much more tender in the process. As time went by, and word spread of your quality, the price of human meat went up exponentially. We could never keep up with demands. So I came up with a brilliant plan. I would take a lesson from my father's book and sell you an item. One you already foolishly believed to be possible, when it clearly was not. A teleporter.
But I've seen them work. I've seen people get into them and then appear hundreds, if not thousands of miles away.
Do you really think it's possible to turn your body made of molecules into atoms, and then send those atoms over a beam to another place, then reassemble the atoms into the right molecules in the right places without killing the original individual? It would require a star to generate enough power to accelerate a human's mass to light speed, even if it was one atom at a time. If you just send a signal that represents the atomic structure, as we do, then you are using different atoms at the destination, which I admit is a far more energy-efficient way of doing it. But then you are also running into the ship of Theseus paradox. If you replace every board on a ship when you are done, is it really the same ship? You can't get past killing the original person no matter how you go about it, unless you can scan them without disassembling them. But then you have two people, and that's not teleportation. It's just 3D printing. So, I came up with an idea. Instead of killing the original person for no reason, other than to call it teleportation and not 3D printing, why not put them to good use instead? Now, every single time one of you humans teleport, my family ends up with a new animal to be sold. We used to have to run human trafficking operations to get our meat. Now all we have to do is sit around, and you humans will just keep sending us more and more meat. And the best part is, your species pays for all of it. You feed and raise yourselves. You create the 3D printers. You pay to use them. You pay to power them. You pay to upkeep them. And every one of them just drops the people into a hole beneath them to be frozen for us. You personally just happened to use the booth I was experimenting with. I wanted you humans to fall further to increase storage sizes. But clearly, you are not as durable as I was led to believe. So here we are. You with broken legs on a table. Me, talking to a cow because I'm lonely while working alone on my farm. Everything is automated, you see. So I can do whatever I want with my time. Oh, hold on. Looks like we can finally complete the set.
Stephen heard what sounded like buttons being pressed, and suddenly a pod came down from the ceiling. It was right in front of Stephen, so he could see it, and through its window, he could see a human was inside it. The pod was veiled in a light mist. It must be very cold. But then, Stephen looked closer. It was not just any human in the pod. It was Stephen.
Looks like you are back from your vacation, Stephen. That means I have some good news and some bad news for you. The good news is that as a matching set, you will fetch a higher price. For whatever reason, all species seem to like their food to be as uniform and predictable as possible. But the bad news is you are going to a Reglitz restaurant, and they like their food to be as fresh as possible, so I won't be the one killing you. This might seem like good news to you at first, but I've been to those restaurants, and trust me, you would much rather have had me dispatch you painlessly while you slept in cold storage. Have you ever seen the movie Padak? No. That's probably for the best. Goodbye, Stephen.
Hey, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you staying this long, and since you did, hopefully that means you like my channel. So I'd really appreciate it if you would like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe so I can see you back here for the next one. Take care.